right. Well, thank you for coming on to the channel, man. I appreciate it. We finally figured out how time zones work, and we're here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I literally just finished a workout. I just walked in, set up the tripod, and let's rock.
All right. So, like these interviews normally go, I'm going to start in the beginning. But what's interesting about your career is that it's kind of stop and start in the beginning. But 2010 is the beginning of your first steady run, correct? Or 2010, 2011?
Yeah, 2010, I'd say so, yeah.
Okay, so almost immediately you end up on NWA Hollywood TV. How did being on TV so early on affect you as a wrestler?
It definitely gave me the experience to TV wrestle.
Hmm.
It gave me the big experience for that, knowing where the cameras are, the hard cams. One of the things about TV wrestling is sticking to times.
Hmm.
So that's super fucking big. So that was a big thing. That was a big deal. But it definitely gave me the confidence to do stuff like AEW, ROH, and New Japan Strong, because all those were TV tapings too.
Hmm.
So yeah, it definitely helped a lot, especially being so young.
Were there any wrestlers that helped you at that stage? Because I can't remember exactly the time period, but I think Adam Pearce should have been around there.
He was there. I worked a little with Adam. He was great. He was a producer too
Hmm.
and a wrestler, so he had a full plate. But one of the big uh, guys that would help me was Rico Dynamite, the guy I was teaming with at the time. He
Hmm.
helped me a lot. So shout out to Big Reeks.
So, how do you feel about having what may have been the final XPW main event?
That was a blast, man. I had so much fun doing that. I didn't really know what to expect, you know. You're
Hmm.
fighting a guy like Necro Butcher who's a fucking maniac. But he's a little older now, so if it is the final XPW match, that's cool with me. I mean, I'll put that in my resume, but I had a blast working for Rob Black. That was a lot of fun. I was hoping they'd come back. They told me they had some dates for me, but I don't know if they're coming back anytime soon.
Oh, I'm in the Midwest, so it's been a similar experience with this local indie scene in the last 20 years and like Ian Rotten. That's our
Okay.
that's the same thing of IWA Mid South for the longest time was it's back, it's gone, it's back, it's gone.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the oh sorry, go ahead.
XPW is huge in LA. When they had their run in the early 2000s, they were selling out like big venues. They had names. People, that's all people would talk about was XPW. If you weren't wrestling for XPW at that time, like no one really gave a shit. So it was huge. It's still fucking huge here. People talk about it all the time. I think they just need the right promoting, you know.
Hmm.
They-
So, when I had Daniel Makabe on, he talked a lot about how, especially from the 2000s and more so in the 2010s as well, the indies are so much skewed towards the eastern part of the country. And it's only in recent years, I mean, there was PWG, right? There was
Mhm.
XPW, but there's nothing with the ROH, CZW kind of reach, I suppose. Um, what has it been like watching that scene develop and finally have some breakout stars?
Out of the West Coast?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's great. I think it's still really hard to break out as a West Coast wrestler. It seems like a lot of fans are on the East Coast. A lot of the bigger promotions are on the East Coast. So it's still incredibly hard to break out on the West Coast. Even getting bookings on the East Coast is hard because flights are more expensive going that way. So it's a fucking pain in the ass. But everyone that's broke out of SoCal lately are the last like 5 to 7 years, we're all like top fucking guys in SoCal for a long time. They were just given the opportunity to finally showcase that and then break out. So it's good to see the homies fucking being blessed, but I still waiting for my turn, you know what I mean?
Do you think that, like, especially like New Japan Strong and the general LA dojo, do you think that helped? Because, like, the very last interview I did was, oh, before Eddie was with Royce Isaacs, and he was talking about getting that experience on Strong. Do you think that helped a lot of local guys?
Oh, 100%, because they were able to go train the Japanese style, get more eyes on them. When you're on a big show like New Japan, like that comes with a lot of prestige, right?
Hmm.
Like they're not going to just put any schmuck in the ring. So that one, if you're booked by them, that's saying like, hey, this guy's fucking good. Um, Two, it's like you're capable of wrestling. They want you there. Now people's eyes are going to be on you. So for sure, New Japan had a big help on the people who went through there, especially with me. Like I was just like a top indie SoCal guy,
Hmm.
started getting booked there, and then 4 months later, I'm in Japan, and
Yeah.
then from there, I've been blessed to have some really fucking cool things in the industry. So that definitely helped me out, put a stamp on me saying like this guy is good to go. Let's fucking take him to Japan, and then from there, work ethic, talent, like luck, all those things combine to like make me kind of blow up, I guess.
Do you think it helps that you're built like a brick shit house?
Yeah,
Because
fuck yeah.
it
Hell
seems
yeah.
well because it seems like New Japan has a type in Gaijin recently.
Yeah.
When you got Alex Coughlin, you got West Coast Wrecking Crew. They just like super jacked huge guys to go in there.
I mean, when you're a big guy, you're jacked, you look intimidating, you look the part. Like I'm in the ring sometimes in a New Japan ring, and like I see
Hmm.
a video or a picture, I'm like, yeah, that's fit. That fits.
Hmm.
Like that's pro wrestling. Like I have a pro wrestler body. I'm
Yeah.
fucking big, I'm thick, I'm fucking strong. I'm like a throwback wrestler.
Yeah.
And there's not too many wrestlers built like me anymore, so like I definitely stand out that way. So, but yeah, fuck yeah, it helps. Like if you're gonna put like wrestlers on a flyer, you want them to look like wrestlers. You don't want them to have like bitch tits. You don't want them to be fucking super skinny. You want people to look at a flyer and be like, oh, that's pro wrestling right off the bat. I don't have to fucking read anything. That's pro wrestling. This guy looks cool as fuck. I want to see him wrestle. I want to see these two guys fight and see what happens.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. This channel in the past, I've made stuff about like Masa Saito, Hiroshi Hase. Just I do like that old throwback wrestlers who are
Yeah,
who can probably
right.
tell. Um,
Sometimes I'll be out and about and someone will be like, "Are you a wrestler?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, like how do you know me? Do you watch wrestling?" And they'll be like, "No, you're just like built like a fucking wrestler." And I'm like, "Hell yeah. I love it."
what is your athletic background? I was kind of hard to find.
So I've played sports my entire life. I
Hmm.
played baseball my whole life. I played football my whole life, all the way up until high school. I did a lot of I've done a lot of jujitsu, I've done some judo, I've done some boxing.
That
I'm
I can
very
tell.
athletic. Yeah, I'm very fucking athletic. I played like all sports growing up. Like we had a bunch of kids on my street when I was little and younger, and we would just play sports all day. On top of that, I was like in Little League, I was in Pop Warner, I was fucking at the YMCA doing karate, I was doing all kinds of shit.
That is awesome. And that I was really most curious about that jujitsu judo experience because a significant part of my fandom of you is Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
Uh-huh.
And so you've had 7 matches there. What about the format appeals to you, and which match has been your favorite?
So like I'm a big Japanese wrestling fan,
Hmm.
and part of that is the UWF stuff,
Hmm.
that pancrase stuff. Like I love when pro wrestlers cross over into MMA or shoot stuff. Like that's my fucking favorite. I love that stuff. So that's really appealing to me to do that now as a pro wrestler and a grappling experience to go into Josh Barnett's Bloodsport and handle that. So that's why I love it. That's why I do it. I think all wrestlers should be trained in shoot wrestling, at least know how to do a double leg, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I started training jujitsu in like 2017. I was doing judo off and on for before that. I would actually watch a lot of catch wrestling DVDs to
Hmm.
learn like leg locks and shit like that. A lot of them were like Josh Barnett like seminars
Oh
on
yeah.
YouTube. So I would learn a bunch of neck cranks and fucking like judo pins that would just take the breath out of people. Um,
You and I are very similar. I have a Josh Barnett instructional at the
yeah.
scarf hold.
That's my go-to submission. That's my favorite submission.
That's the big
In
guy. That's a big guy hold.
yeah, on the mats, like I'm known for that. That's like my go-to. So, and I have a lot of transitions out of there too. It's fucking great. But yeah, that I love that the scarfold. But my favorite match, I really like my match with Royce Isaac in Texas. My match with Eric Hammer in LA. Um, my match with Victor Benjamin, I think Victor Benjamin's his name, in Florida.
The Savage Gentleman. Yeah.
Yeah, the Savage Gentleman. Honestly, my favorite match, even though I lost, was against fucking Barnett.
Yeah.
It was against Barnett. That was like a dream match, to be honest. I was booked, I think, for Bloodsport during the pandemic, and he had texted me, and I was like, yeah, it's fuck yeah. And I immediately thought like, oh, that'd be sick to wrestle Barnett on Bloodsport. That's like a dream match. And I was able to do it. I mean, unfortunately, I came up short, but I mean, that's the War Master. He's been doing it for close to 30 years. So
Yeah, how was it from the guy who taught you leg lock instructionals from online to actually squaring up with him?
so I would watch a lot of leg lock tutorials of his in the early 2000s, and I'd study his fighting specifically because I liked the way one, his grappling's different because it's catch wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just regular wrestling, it's not jiu-jitsu, it's different. And I always liked his boxing, and I liked the way he mixed his hands with his catch wrestling. I thought that was it was different, and I really liked it. And he was just like violent, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then fast forward to like 2017, I was in UFC gym in La Mirada, and I walked into lift weights. I wasn't even doing jujitsu yet. I had done judo. I've been doing judo, but I walked in and I looked in on one of the mat rooms, and it was like Barnett and his whole fight team. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? What the fuck's going on here? So then, like, a month goes by and I see he got booked on a show that I was on a show. So I was like, cool, I'll introduce myself to him or whatever. So I introduced myself to him. He was fucking super nice guy. Josh, if you know Josh, he's fucking the coolest fucking dude.
He's been on the channel. He's
Yeah,
a
he's
lovely
super
human
awesome.
being.
Yeah, awesome. And because he looks scary as fuck,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Yeah. So you introduced him, he was cool as fuck. And then one day he saw me training jujitsu and he's like, hey, do you fucking train like you grapple? I go, yeah, I just started or whatever. He's like, oh, come and train with me. I'm getting ready for like a tournament. Like, come train with me. And I was like, yes, please. So I was able to train with him and it was awesome. It was fucking awesome, and my grappling shot up immediately. I got so
Mm-hmm.
much better in just a short amount of time. And then during the pandemic, he just hit me up. He's like, "Hey, we're doing Bloodsport. You want to do it?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go."
The
So
Indianapolis cards, right?
right, no, it was they shot it in LA. It was like during the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I got the call that for New York, and I'd be
Okay.
wrestling him, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" Like I trained with him. And that was fucking brutal. I know when he's probably actually fighting, that's another step. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, how am I going to prepare for this guy? Because Josh is big as fuck, dude. Like, I'm a big guy, but he's way bigger than me. And he's really strong. And I just thought to myself, like, maybe I could use my speed. But like, I learned in training with him, he's also really fucking quick. So I was like, I'm just gonna have to put it all together and come at him and hope for the best. But it was a great experience. Dude's fucking awesome. Dude's a legend. He should probably be on the American MMA Mount Rushmore for sure.
Mm-hmm. So now in New Japan, you're a member of the Mighty Don't Kneel.
Hmm.
They had said upon ZSJ joining that they were going to force him to take on an Australian name. Have you been forced to do that yet, or are you sticking to your Tito?
Yeah, they say I'm the most Australian American they've ever met. Right? They did force me to eat Vegemite.
Okay.
I did have to try that, and it wasn't bad. Kind of salty.
Better or worse than Bugle's Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavor?
Ah, better. Those were awful. Those were bad. Those were real bad. I'll never get those again.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good that you learned this.
Yeah.
What have you learned from TMDK?
A lot. I feel like I've gotten a lot better as a wrestler, wrestling with them. Whenever you wrestle with guys who are at that level, you're going to pick up things, little things, all kinds of stuff. mat structure, of course. Just all kinds of stuff, man. Those guys are awesome. Like everyone there in that group is like a top level pro wrestler. So not to say that I'm not, but like I'm always learning. Like I was at ROH a couple weeks ago and I picked up some things there too where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna implement that now, you know. So my mind's always open. Those guys are great minds for wrestling. So
Specifically, I thought that during your time in TMDK, you've picked up a lot of experience in tag wrestling. Can you
mhm.
speak to how that's helped you in tags?
Oh yeah, I love tag wrestling. That's my favorite thing. If I could only be a tag wrestler, I'd be happy with that. Especially if they're like six mans or eight mans. Oh, please. That's heaven for me.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's different things you could do with tag wrestling, positioning, structure and stuff. So I really enjoy that. I've used a lot of the stuff that I've learned from TMDK and in Japan back here in the States. So seems to be working well.
So one of your nicknames is El Hijo de Jaguar. Where is Jaguar Senior?
Oh shit. I don't know where that even comes from, to be honest. I think that's just like someone on the internet playing games.
All right. So you've had matches with fellow giant bruisers like aforementioned Eric Hammer, Brian
hmm
Cage, Jeff Cobb. Who else that's huge would you like to take on?
Ooh, I wrestled JR Kratos. He was fucking a big motherfucker. Um,
That dude's like a cryptid. He shows up for like strong. He shows up for Bloodsport cards, and then
yeah.
he's just scary as fuck.
Yeah, he's huge. Um, Mike Knox I wrestled. He was huge. Another fucking big guy. I would like to wrestle Powerhouse Hobbs.
Hmm.
That'd be cool. Samoa Joe, he's a big motherfucker. I'd like to wrestle him. Um, Those are the two that come to mind right on the top of my head.
Good picks.
Yeah.
Who is a wrestler in your opinion that more people should take influence from?
Doug Furnace.
Okay.
I love Doug Furnace.
Well,
I
yeah,
love
there you
that
go.
tag
Tag
team.
worker. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucking badass. He was like a big time power wrestler lifter. I think he was a collegiate wrestler too. Just tough motherfucker, big motherfucker, athletic. I think our styles are very similar.
Hmm. Is
Yeah.
there a little bit of Steve Williams in there too? Because
Of
that
course,
I
yeah.
was gonna say.
I'm like really aggressive when I'm in the ring most of
Hmm.
the time. So like Steve Williams, Dan Henson, those guys definitely come to mind. That
What
big, strong, like American gaijin.
what was your first exposure to Japanese wrestling?
Oh, it was a Super J Cup compilation. I think I found at like some kind of collectible store or something. Like at the time I had just started training to wrestle. I was like 15 and I was into comic books and stuff. So we went to a collectible spot. They had a um, wrestling dude selling shit, and he had a bunch of just like all kinds of stuff, deathmatch shit, stuff from the East Coast, Japanese stuff. And then I was like, well, what's this? This is Super Jacob. What's this? He's like, oh, those are the best cruiserweights in the world. And I was like, well, I'm a cruiserweight at the time. You know, I'm super young. I was like 170 pounds. So I was like, maybe I'll just pick some things up from here. And I watched that. I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. This is like super sick. Like Wild Pegasus, Owen Hart, Jushin Thunder Liger, um, Super Dolphin, fucking some Lucha guys. Just I think Black Tiger Mask, which was Eddie Guerrero, like just Chris Jericho, like just crazy, crazy, crazy names wrestling each other. And the pace was so different, the wrestling style was so different. I was like, oh, this is what wrestling should be. This is fucking awesome. Had my attention the whole time. That and then some FMW like
Oh yeah.
deathmatch shit.
Oh yeah. When
Never
you're
really
like,
got, I was never into it, but I was like kind of captivated. I was like, what the fuck is this? Exploding fucking rings, ropes set on fire. This is crazy.
what is a wolf zaddy? Please define that for me.
Like, I mean, a zaddy is just a daddy with a Z, you know?
Okay.
It's like a little cooler.
What specifically makes you a wolf zaddy?
We can't be tamed, bro. Wolves can't be tamed, you know. In the circus, you see elephants and tigers and lions, but you don't see a wolf, you know.
Have you seen a dog? That was a wolf.
At a circus?
No, no, but a dog you have in your house, that was a wolf.
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah, it's
tamed.
domesticated, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
But you
saying.
know, wolf's a little scarier. Wolf's a little tougher. Also, wolves are fucking huge too. They're way bigger than just a house pet.
There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of wolf zaddies, what can you say about your tag partner, Shea Cabrera, and how do you bring out the best in each other?
Ah, fuck, he's amazing, dude. Everyone always talks about how big I am, and that dude's bigger than me. So, I mean, his ethic is like compared to none. In the gym every day, dieting every day. He's a fucking monster. And you know, we're just up for anything always, you know, it doesn't take much to get us hyped. You know, right before we go out there, we fucking hit knuckles. We're like, let's fucking go. It's go time. Even like leading up to some shows, we'll be like, oh, these motherfuckers don't even know what's about to happen. Like, because we're hungry. We're hungry. We're ready to go. We feel like we've been starving for years. So
You need to
yeah,
get
he's
him over to
great.
Japan. They'll love him
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, they would love him there.
So, unless I'm mistaken, you're originally from Bocas del Toro, Panama, right?
My family is, yeah.
Okay. So, what do you think the key is to get more like Latin American and South American talent into pro wrestling? Because currently it's very few. We got a few from Peru, a few from Brazil.
I think they just need the exposure to it, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
was lucky enough at a young age to find WWE. Like my whole family loved wrestling
Mm-hmm.
as a kid, so like we would watch it in the morning on Saturday afternoons. So just exposure to it. Like wrestling's so big that once you watch it, you're like drawn to it, especially as a little kid. So I think just exposure and time, you know. S- Same thing that happened with like Team USA in '92 with the Olympics, like the
Mm-hmm.
Dream Team. Like all these other countries saw this and they're like, oh, we want to do this. So just exposure and time, and then we'll get there.
All right. Yeah, because I know like recently, I know like the Argentinian indie scene of all places is doing some stuff. It's
Oh,
cool to
shit.
see that there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as long as there are people there that know the business and they're teaching them correctly, it, like it'll blow up everyone. All around the world loves wrestling.
Specifically, it was Dick Togo going over there because that
Oh,
guy will seemingly go anywhere for
that's
any
sick.
amount of money.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I know Dick
Um.
Togo.
Yeah. So what can you say about the Santino Bros Academy?
It's the best school in LA.
Okay.
Easily, yeah. All the best wrestlers in this area come out of there. It's the hardest place to train, but you want that. You want to be pushed. Um, if you want to be the best wrestler in this area, you should probably train there.
Hmm.
Chaos is fucking a great, great, great coach. Inside the ring, outside the ring, philosophy of wrestling. He's been around a long fucking time. So it's literally the best place to wrestle, in my opinion, to learn to wrestle.
Who do you think are the best kept secrets of the West Coast scene currently? Like, who's next up?
Um, so Jordan Cruz is one of the top guys out here. He wrestles a lot, so people should know him. He's really fucking good. Lucas Riley is really smooth and great. You know, I still feel like people sleep on me a lot, even though like I've done some pretty big things. I'm not quite where I want to be. So I think people still sleeping on me for sure. Slice Boogie is fucking great. My boy Che Cabrera, like those are the names for sure.
What are your goals for 2025? I assume one of them is the G1 if possible.
I just want to do big things, you know, like things that get me excited, things that are fun. I like traveling the world to go wrestle. So I want to do more traveling. I want to do bigger things, bigger shows, more prestigious like companies. Like that's the goal. Have fucking bangers. Um, just enjoy wrestling, you know?
Hmm. So, as we close, I'm gonna give you some names, and I would like you to assign them a bad dude score out of 10.
Okay.
All right. Gabe Kidd,
8.
Okay. Bolton Oleg.
Bolin's pretty fucking legit. I'll give him a 9.
All right, all right. This one I'm interested about. Great Okan.
Fucking 4.
And finally, Rocky Romero.
Oh, Rocky's a 10.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
And you have to say that, or
I'm not obligated to say it at all.
all right.
Rocky's a 10 though, man. Rocky's tough as fuck and he's been around forever. He's got some MMA fights too.
That
He's
I
got some
know.
some great stories. You should get Rocky on the show. He'd have a lot of stories for you.
If I can, I will get some.
Yeah, good luck. He's hard to get a hold of,
I
man.
would imagine. So do you have anything you want to announce? I'll probably get this up within a few days.
Hmm.
Do you have, it's not like I have a huge reach on this, but is there anything you want to plug?
I do have something big coming up this weekend, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
All right.
So just stay tuned.
Yeah,
You'll be seeing it soon.
look out for Tito.
Yeah. But yeah, just follow me on IG and Twitter, Bad Dude Tito. I usually post kind of a lot. I like to be a little silly on there. So
All right. That works for me. Thank you very much.
no problem, brother.